Once upon a time, in the archives of American literature, there existed a figure so mystifying that his life seemed to be ripped straight from the pages of a Gothic novel. Born on January 19, 1809, Edgar Allan Poe was a man haunted by shadows. Shadows that didn't just inhabit his famous stories, but also marred his tumultuous life. Destined for tragedy, young Edgar was born in Boston to itinerant actors. By 1811, his mother, Elizabeth Arnold Hopkins Poe, had died of tuberculosis, and his father, David Poe, had vanished, essentially orphaning him at the tender age of 2. Fortuitously, he was adopted by John Allan, a wealthy tobacco merchant in Richmond, Virginia. The relationship, however, would turn bitter and fraught with tension, culminating in a fallout that lasted for years. Ambitious and eager for higher education, Edgar enrolled in the University of Virginia in 1826. His tenure was short-lived. He was forced to leave after just 1 semester because John Allan refused to provide enough funds. Financially strapped and unable to continue his education, he resorted to gambling and quickly accumulated debt. Facing a bleak future, Edgar enlisted in the United States Army under the pseudonym Edgar A. Perry in 1827. Although he excelled and reached the rank of Sergeant Major, he sought an early discharge and set his eyes on West Point, entering the academy in 1830. But life at West Point was not to his liking, and after a deliberate court-martial, he was dismissed in 1831. In 1835, he became the editor of the Southern Literary Messenger in Richmond. It was during this period that he wed his first cousin, Virginia Clem, on May 16, 1836, who was only 13 at the time. Her youthful presence brought temporary solace to Edgar's tumultuous existence. However, tragedy was not done with him yet. In 1842, Virginia showed signs of tuberculosis, the very disease that had taken his mother. Despite his desperate attempts to provide for her through a series of editing jobs and freelance writing, Virginia died on January 30, 1847, plunging Edgar into a pit of despair and exacerbating his dependence on alcohol. He did find modest fame during his lifetime, most notably with the publication of The Raven in 1845. The poem was an instant success, though it did little to alleviate his financial woes. Despite creating works that would become pillars of American literature, such as The Telltale Heart and The Fall of the House of Usher, he lived in near-constant poverty, earning only a few dollars for some of his stories. And then, in a manner befitting the mysterious aura that surrounded him, Edgar Allan Poe met his end under mysterious circumstances. On October 3, 1849, he was found delirious on the streets of Baltimore, wearing clothes that were not his own. He was taken to Washington Medical College, where he died on October 7th. To this day, the cause of his death remains an unsolved mystery, with theories ranging from alcohol poisoning to rabies. The life of Edgar Allan Poe, a tale of talent and tragedy, closed its final chapter in haunting ambiguity. Through the stories and poems he left behind, Poe achieved the immortality that eluded him in life. A dark star in the literary cosmos, his legacy shines with a light that emanates from the depths of both artistic brilliance and profound sorrow. Forever haunting, forever haunted.